What's going on, you guys? Jason here. This is called the title of my Big Ben. Big Ben So Big is my title of my video. This is a Big Ben made in USA alarm clock by Westclock. And this is how they did things when things were made in America. If you turn the clock around, you turn the alarm on or off. You don't want to mess with these mechanical switches because you can bind something up. You want to take it apart and have it reworked and relubed. Very important when you get something vintage that you don't fool with any of these switches because you can really break something. Here's the front of it. This is a Big Ben by Westclock alarm clock that I came across. These are getting harder to find. Someone bought this in. This is how they did things back then. This is a Westclock by Big Ben. Big Ben So Big. Big Ben, and what you see the back of it. These are the manual controls right there. This would be your time. This would be for your alarm. This would be to set it. Turn it on, turn it off. The hour, the second, slow, fast. Look at the writing right there. It says, manufactured in USA. And this is how they did things then. You know, you're not going to find a clock like this anywhere today. This is the quality that Big Ben always stood behind. They stood behind their products. And, you know, sadly, you can't even buy a clock. This was an important alarm clock that you would have. It's a piece that you had in the home that it stood for whatever the reason you had one in the bedroom. People would wake up and go to work. But it was an important part of our everyday lives. And everybody had a nightstand with a Big Ben clock. That'd be on the nightstand where we slept. And that's how things were simple, you know. Today, you would use a phone to wake you up, or you'd set an alarm. You would wind this clock up and keep it wound up and keep it accurate with the time of the day, or whether it's daylight saving times, or it would be fall. You know, you set the clocks back, set the clocks forward. This is what stood out, made in USA. And I'm not going to move any of the switches on it because when you get something vintage like this, you could do a lot of more harm than good. And this is what we have always said. You want to have it reworked. There's a lot of mechanisms in here that have to be redone right. And if you try to wind this, you could damage a spring and everything else. But just wanted to give you a glimpse of it. This is Big Ben So Big. Big Ben was never so big. A masterpiece, a timepiece. I mean, this is just such a beautiful clock when I look at it. You know, if you take this to the right clock person, you know, this is what I tell people. You have manual wind-up switches here, wind-up, and you don't want to mess with any of these because you could break something in a matter of seconds. The best thing is to leave this alone and not touch it. You have someone that knows how to work on clocks. No WD-40, you have to use a special lubrication. You know, there could be dry grease in there. There could be a whole number of different things that could be wrong here. But I thought I'd do a video on this today because this really caught my attention today. I felt I had to put this up today. This is a really, really nice piece. I was really happy to walk in here and find something made in USA. Really, really spiked my attention. This is a Big Ben by Westclock. Boy, what a time when they did things. You know, there was also his sister clock, Baby Ben. How many remember Baby Ben? There is a Big Ben clock in another country. And, you know, you can look up the history of Big Ben. And they also made a Baby Ben wind-up clock. Now, how cool would that be to find Baby Ben? They made a large version, a small version. And that is real metal. Look at that. Just see the bottom of it. It's all real metal. This is really, really awesome that I found this in here. Now, anytime you come across something vintage, whether it be a vintage radio, whether it be a vintage record player, I know a little lesson on the duals would be, you know, they have manual switches. You could break them. Everything had to be reworked properly. I'm going to wrap the video up here. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. This is like a history lesson I wanted to share with people, a time and everything. So we're going to wrap the video up. Hope you guys got something out of it. Big Ben, so big. Thanks for watching. See you later.